Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of EXAPUNKS. We're going to get into that credit card hacking that we were looking at last episode. So recall that the idea is to find a sequence of 16 contiguous values which could plausibly be a credit card, and then check to see if they really are a credit card, and if so, broadcast them. So I think this is pretty straightforward. How many contiguous values, by the way, are there in the file? Like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So there's actually quite a few like that just in this space alone. And indeed, the only other place where you could fit is here, or maybe here? 4, 8, 12, 16. Yeah. I wonder if it's guaranteed that there's, like, if it has to actually be inside a space that's exactly 16 bits wide. That would be even simpler. But I suppose we should just do things right, since it's not that hard. Yeah. All right, so let us just get started. Link 800, link 802, link 799, that looks like. Yeah. Grab the file and mark, it's 199 in fact, mark scan, right? Yeah. When we want to begin scanning, what is it that we do? I think we'll want a loop here. I don't want to repeat 16 times this like test whether f is negative 999. I mean, it would be faster, I guess. It's actually kind of like kind of cool, right? Rep 16 of test f equals minus 999 and t jump back to scan, right? I believe that this will get us to halt when we are 16 digits into a credit card number, or a possible credit card number. Yeah. We're not going to win any contests on size. And in fact, if we have to do 2 more steps, relatively large steps, in fact, that are each size 16, it's going to be a bit tricky, isn't it? I guess we don't have to skip over the even indexed numbers when we're first going over, right? So recall that to validate a credit card number, the even numbered digits, which is to say the second and fourth, not like the 0th and second, we just add them. And for the odd digits, you double them and then add them and then maybe subtract 9. But we can do a bit better by just adding all of them together. And that way we don't need to do as many seeks. And then just go seek backwards and read over the file or the number again. Seeking only that second time, and then if for those numbers which are greater than 4, I guess, we subtract 9. No, hang on. We double it. Yeah, I guess when we look at a number that we've already added once, we definitely add it a second time. And then, if it is greater than 4, we subtract 9. Now, my problem is that I don't have a lot of register space to do all this in. If x is supposed to be my running sum, and if x is the running sum and t is like what step of the process we are in, it's a bit tricky. Right, because there's no place to store test results like, was this number greater than 9? Greater than 4? I guess what we should do is, well, one thing we could do is do a single pass over the file, just adding things, right? And then give that number to someone else to hang on to, right? Give it to another exa. Then go back over the number and figure out how much we need to subtract, and then get the number back from the other exa and subtract it, right? It seems like when we're running over the number the first time, it actually costs us like a lot of bytes to, or a lot of lines of code to like not use a loop, right? And so I think it will be better to just use a loop here when we're computing what to add. As a bonus, t I was thinking that t will be like whether or not we can look at t, which is our counter, to determine are we in an odd or an even state, and if so, like add the number accordingly. But you can't test a property of the number without overriding t, so it's sort of a problem. So I think you need another exa. Well, you can do this all in, if you want to do this all in one pass, you need another exa, right? And you would have the guy reading the credit card transmit first his index, and then transmit the value at that index twice, I think. Is that crazy? No, you would transmit the value at the index once, and that would just get added to the other guy's accumulator. Then you would transmit the index, which they would store into T, whether or not that's odd, right? And then they would multiply what's in their T by the result of you sending the value again, right? And then how do we tell this worker node who's been accumulating values for us that we're done? I think the simplest thing to do is just like kill him and take the file. Oh, he doesn't even have a file. He just has a number. I guess we could then transmit our index again. Oh, no. The worker who is doing all of this could be writing the results to a file that he's carrying as well as into his accumulator. Then we could just kill him and take the file. How exactly, though, are we doing the index computation? Like, the really hard thing is to say, if some value is greater, like to do an AND, right? If the value we're working with is greater than 4 and the index we're at is odd. Maybe what we need is just some sort of like, is it possible to design a single EXA who receives some number of inputs, well, who receives basically 2 inputs transmitted as many times as it needs, and computes even a single computes how much to add to the running sum for that number, taking into account whether it's odd and whether it's greater than 4. Can you do that in a single exa just for one number? Not like maintaining the running sum as well. Because if so, you could transmit results to that guy, and then when he's ready, have him send the results to someone who's just keeping a sum. And it seems like if you're allowed to receive the results as many times as you want, you should be, the inputs as many times as you want, you should be able to do all that, right? You first take in the value and store it in X. Then you test the index to see whether it's odd. If so, well, we'll be reversing our concepts of odd and even, because they're talking about if it's one indexed odd, which is to say if it's 0 indexed even, then we add X to X. Then we test again whether the input not so easy, is it? I guess we can be holding a file, right? We can give ourselves a little more room, a little more scratch room. We receive X, and we just save it. We receive the number, the digit, and we save it. We never modify X. We just write to the file any additional updates that need to be made to X. So if the index is even, which is to say odd in the normal human world, then we test whether X is large enough that we should subtract 9, and if so, write a -9 to the file. Yeah. Then we do a post-processing step where we add up all the numbers in the file. And give that result back to whoever wanted it, somehow. Maybe we just give them the file and they do the adding themselves, I don't know. Although it's sort of hard to give them a file because you have to tell them the file number, and if you're doing that, you might as well just tell them the one value that's in the file, right? Okay, let's see if I can write that exa first. Oops. New exa, and we're going to call this guy the digit master. His job is to copy M to X. Also, make a file. Copy X to F. I guess you maybe don't need this. Yeah, you probably don't. Because we're leaving X alone. Now, we know. We first test M, which we will require to be the index. Is it? Oh, it's not even easy to compute odd. Okay, so instead, no. We just mod M by 2, storing the result into T. And this will be 0 if it's a number we should double, right? If it's odd, here's another thought. We don't need a file unless we're working with an odd number, with an index where we have to do something funny. So if true, we just t-jump to done. We got the number. Done. Copy x to m, I guess, probably, right? Not jtemp, but t-jump, please. Otherwise, it must be an index that we are interested in. An interesting index. And so now we sort of... Maybe I don't need a file at all. We found already that it's an interesting index. And so I will just test whether x is greater than 4. That is now, the result of that is in t. And if we multiply t by -5, storing the result in t, we can now just add x to x, storing the result in x. And add x to t, storing the result in x, right? In fact, in m. Well, sure. Depending on whether we want another jump here or whether we want to fall through to this. So we ended up not needing a file at all. And this guy's like an oracle who can just receive 2 numbers and tell you what to do with them. Right? How much to add to the sum. I like this guy. We'll get a bad activity number if we like have him be here and move him into this room, as opposed to like having one exa move here and then replicate. But it's going to be simpler to deal with because we have like smaller code boxes. The giant code boxes are really a problem with like the multiple x approaches. So we'll link this guy to 800, link him to 802, and stay here. And then I'm just going to jump mark f for we're computing the function f. Jump to f. That's cute. I was thinking like there's not going to be room for him here, and so we're going to have to bring the file out and then later bring it back. But actually, we can just say to also like link this guy. Oh, this is the digit master. That's right. Link to 799, and he should be last. And he'll get in just as the file is being picked up. Now they're both here, and when we're ready to go, when we finally computed a good answer, I'll just kill this guy and leave the file and run, or not run. Transmit the value over global communication to the original dude. So these guys both they want to be in local mode for talking to each other, and then when they have an answer, they'll broadcast over global. Okay. So we now have this guy. He's found mark check, right? He now wishes to begin checking a number. And so what must he do? First, we will copy 16 to T. No, 15. Well, I guess 16 is the number of digits remaining to check, right? Secondly, he must seek by minus 16. We just scanned over a bunch of cards and determined, not cards, digits, and determined that we do indeed want to look at all of them. Therefore, begin at the beginning. And having done this, so if we send, we're not actually sending the index, but rather, I guess it's the same though. How many are left? If there are 16 left, we're on the first one, which is mod 0, so it comes out the same. 0 mod 2. Yeah, so it comes out the same as if we were doing it the other way around. And then we will mark digit. And what we do is we copy, what order does this guy want things in? He wants the value first. Copy F to M, copy T to M, subtract from T1, storing the result in T, add X and M to X, and T-jump, if there are more digits, back to digit. Finally, we will mod I X by 10, and I'm aware you can do this with a swizzle, but why bother, right? Storing the result into T. If that value in T is 0, then we are done. If it is not 0, we are not done. And I guess we should seek by minus 15. And then F jump. Well, let's put the minus 6, the seek here first, right? We've finished reading a card, and we've now determined F jump. We're done. No, so in fact, let's T jump back to scan. We determined that it was not equal to 0 mod 10. I just had a heart attack. I thought you guys were not looking at the correct screen. Okay, you were though. We will T-jump, because it was not 0 mod 10, back to begin scanning. If this did not occur, then we will kill the addition bot here, switch to global mode, seek minus 1 more to get us to the beginning of the digit, and 16 times copy F to M. Right. We're gonna be close on the size barrier if I don't shrink some of these loops into actual loops. If I keep unrolling everything, and that's fine. Then he can die, and that'll be it. We'll just make it one more exa here, whose job is just to make a file, and 16 times copy M to F. There you go. 99. Oh, we have 150, not just 100. Okay. And that's all he needs to do. So what happens when I run all this is what I want to know. This guy scans for a while. Found a number worth checking. Actually, what is the correct answer, please? 83847 whatever. Where is that in the file? Here. Okay. So we should spend quite a lot of time checking numbers here and determining that none of them are any good, yeah? But okay, let's just run this loop, and we're getting values, you know, are they good? Who can say? And we're adding them up. Yeah, look at that. Sending 2 numbers, getting 1 back. And then we killed this guy. Oh my god. What happened? Oh, I made him create a new file. I never made him delete his file. The digit master here. No, he doesn't make any files. Why did you die? I wish there were like a step back in time button. Or some way I could see both of them at once. Like so. There should be no way for this guy to ever die. Unless he is killed, right? None of these instructions can possibly fail. Unless he's given like a non-number input, which I don't think is possible. So let's keep an eye on this guy's T, I guess. That's probably where the interesting things are likely to occur. When his T gets close to 0. So, he believes he has done 16 operations. He seeks minus 15. Mod I x by 10. Oh, he got 100. So, according to his calculations, we have the answer. That explains why he killed this guy. And we just said, here's the answer. But this is incorrect. Okay, let's make sure that the digit master is performing correctly. Is he doing what he should be doing? The first number that we send him is an 8, right? Okay. We send him an 8. Or we copied an 8 to M. We're sending him 8 and 16. 16 is... It's the first number using 1 indexing, which means we should double it. And then because the original value was greater than 4, we should subtract 9. So we should have double 8, which is 16, minus 9 is 7. We should get a result of 7 here from the digit master. Copies M to X gets 8. mods the index by 2, stores it into T. T-dump will not succeed. We are not yet done. We must, therefore, do some other stuff. First, we test, was x greater than 4? Yes. Therefore, why did I say 5? It's supposed to be 9. I don't even know what I was thinking. Okay, well, that's an easy error to fix. Alright, and what's the digit master up to? Not much, doesn't have any numbers yet. Any digits, prefers the technical term. He has now received 8 and determined it is an odd indexed one. He will therefore say, oh look, I even need to do some crazy stuff to it. -9. He doubles x and adds -9, achieving 7, and sends the result. Okay, so he seems to be doing roughly the correct thing here. Therefore, I will just watch this guy's T register. And as it gets close to 0, we'll see if he comes up with a more accurate sum. Well, that is to say anything that doesn't happen to end with a 0. Okay, he got 72. Great. So he seeks to -15. And says, is 2 equal to 0? No, it is not. So he goes back. Scanning. Except we never actually reset x to be 0 at the end of each of these iterations. We assumed in the first iteration that it would be 0, and that was correct. But to keep that assumption true, we have to set it to 0 ourselves when we actually are done. Okay, so it looks like it is correctly, like, searching finding, like, things which could be credit card numbers and checking them. And they're all failing. That's great. Man, this is slow. Alright, now it scans over all this stuff, finds another candidate number. That's not the right one. And we're now getting close to the real value, which is not going to be on this pass, but the next. Alright, it's the one starting 83847, and we're now on the one starting with 3. I guess we'll watch this guy because he has a T marker indicating what to do. So we scan again, and we found a sensible value. So we go back to start at 8. And this is the one that should result in a positive match for a credit card, right? Look at that. It's a 0 in T. We killed him, and we're sending back the answer. A3, yeah, we got the right one. Great. We're credit card hackers, guys. A bit slow, but we did it. A pretty normal solution, I'd say. Everyone did basically the same amount of activity, which is interesting to me. Couldn't you have done better by... Oh, I see. Well, there's an option I'd like to check. We'll get back to that. It turns out you can order and take delivery of a supercomputer surprisingly fast. Now I have to figure out how to make use of this thing. It works in an extremely different way than I'm used to. I feel like I'm trying to maneuver a big rig after years of being used to a roadster. That's the use of metaphor. What do you think? Sure. Seems good to me. once this thing is fully online, I should be able to run dozens of metaphoric thought space dimensions at once, whatever that is. So there's an option I wanted to set, to look at in the interface? No, network. Let's just show these percentile markers. I'm like, so what is the deal? We're in the top 1% and the top 10% of scores is what you get to see here. And indeed, while we are in the same bar as everybody reasonable, although not quite everybody, the people who did better have an activity of 3, which is quite simple, right? You move, grab file, replicate, right? That would have been pretty simple to do. But I have 1, 2, 3 in unnecessary moves and 1 unnecessary kill that made my activity higher than necessary. Okay, fine. I'm happy enough with this. So let us now meet with Ember 2. Are we going to learn about the trolley problem again?
Now I have supercomputing power. Is it feeling good? It feels the same. I'm handling a lot more information now, but other than that... Funny. It's progress, at least.
Progress toward what?
Toward knowledge. All the data I've gathered so far is beginning to hint at a larger picture. Why is the world the way it is? Why does it feel so frustrating and limited? I think I have a theory. A good one. It explains a lot. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, though. We have to test it first.
Do you want a nuke or something? Oh, the US government and an unknown network. The US government. We will access a DNA database and overwrite one entry with another. The FEMA? Why? Did FEMA even exist at this time? I don't know. Remove the security apparatus protecting her friend. Okay, so, I don't know. Let's not do either of these this episode, but let's have a look at the government one. How do you think people would react if they knew their elected officials didn't represent their interests? I think most people already do that. Think so? That's the subject of our experiment today. We're going to make people believe their leaders are genetic clones of each other. Sure? Do you want to know the truth or not? It takes a certain amount of courage. Good thing there's a centralized government DNA database. I wonder who thought that was a good idea. You plant the evidence and I'll take care of the rest. So here we are in the US government DNA database. Ooh, legacy storage systems. So overwrite, there's like a father-son senator-president pair, and we're supposed to make their DNA identical instead of... Interesting. Okay. Legacy systems. Well, I don't really want to read about a new thing, so let's go look at this and see if this one is something we can just sort of think about without having learned any new rules yet. Remember the friend I was looking for? I finally found its hideout. I actually don't remember. Looks like there are some protections in place. We need to disable those so I can get in and say hi. I think you're gonna kill this person. Sure, you know how old friends can be sometimes. Let's go. This is Russian. Terminate all other X's. And bring any files they were holding back to your host. Only X's in the central host will be holding files, and their file IDs will always be between 200 and 299. Interesting. So, do these guys do anything? No, they do nothing. They just sit here. So... I guess... And we're always going over link 800, right? So I guess the obvious thing to do is just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Step forward and kill twice. Then once we're here, kill 4 more times and start spawning things to grab files? This actually seems so easy I could cram it into this episode. I don't know what I'm missing. So basically we repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. A link 800 and kill. Oops, need a new line here. So this should take care of all the... Whoa, he killed me! Okay, so they do react. Okay, they fight back. That's more interesting. Well, you kind of get the jump on them. So we obviously need like some replicas happening, right? So what happens if we just do an obvious thing of like we like REPL to copy. And we just have both of them like go here and apply a kill. Then both nodes die. So here, and we don't actually need a copy here. We can have this REPL go to if you ever survive after applying a kill, then I guess you should move forward, right? Like this. Okay, having some trouble here killing each other, huh? So we walked in. And we applied a kill, and that was fine. But then our supposed friendly fellow came in and killed us while this kill was waiting to happen. So let's like no op here. Don't come in until the dust is settled. What? I'm a little confused about what's happening. So I now have 2 X's in this room somehow. Do you want a no op here as well? We kill him. Yes, that works. This kill is not exactly necessary for the final guy, right? So instead of REPLing to copy, let's REPL to walk. And then mark walk here as just link 800. Jump step. Oh no, they all died. Oh, I need like a no op or something, right? Don't come in too soon. I'm so baffled. Alright, whatever. We're not going to try to solve this one this episode. I thought it might be really easy, but with these guys fighting back, it's a lot more complicated, so good. We have this to look forward to. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.